So welcome to this podcast, this video of listening conversations with plants. Today I have two beautiful beings with me in this little house. One is Kertu,
Yeah.
and the other one is Blue Lotus. And we're having a conversation about Blue Lotus and a conversation with Blue Lotus today. Yeah, so my name is Eva Maria. I help people create real transformations in their lives with sessions with nature therapy, plant medicine, music, and all the magic that the forest has to bring. And with me today, how do you feel about just sharing a few words about you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My name is Kertu, and as always, on one hand, there's so many things to share. And then I'm a woman who really likes to be a woman. And yeah, I'm just walking a path of remembrance and reclamation, and just becoming more and more me, so that I am able to be the clearest channel possible for the plants work through me in all their expressions. And and walking in service to all that celebrates life and all that is sacred.
Thank you. We've just been drinking a little tea of Blue Lotus here, and we're sitting and it's raining a little outside, and been talking about this amazing plant. Because I want to share just on a practical note that when we talk about plants, we're talking about many layers of plants. And we're also talking about plant consciousness. And for me, it's from that perspective that everything around us has wisdom, everything has consciousness, everything has soul. So if you're a person that believes in sustainability and connecting with nature, I'm asking you here in this conversation with us to take a step further and not just believe in plants as living creatures, but believing in them as equal to us and having consciousness. And so we work with plant consciousness and we work with plant medicine, and plants as medicine, in the way that medicine is something that, in my perspective, something that helps us return home, living our dharma, living our purpose. And most plants, if not all, probably not all, most plants, in my perspective, live very close to their alignment. The sunflower isn't like, I wish I was a birch. The sunflower is pretty excited about being a sunflower, especially that plant, I gotta say. And so these plants can really teach us a lot. And some of the ways that you can learn from plants is going out and sitting with a plant. But you can also do it through ancient practices, like what both you and me are doing with Blue Lotus, which is dieting it. And a plant diet is, you can say it in many ways, but it is a deep connection with the plant. You're merging with the plant, with the consciousness of the plant. And so who we are here are Kertu Blue Lotus and Eva Blue Lotus and Blue Lotus and all of us together. So we're going to have a conversation about what comes up today. Yeah. So I think that's the overall way, and then we'll see what happens. So to begin with, I'm curious, for you, what is Blue Lotus? I mean, that's a big question, but just some of the overall things.
Yeah. First of all, I really feel that Blue Lotus, they, whatever pronoun I choose to use when I'm speaking about that plant from this conversation, is so multidimensional, and I truly feel like it's like lifetime or lifetimes worth of getting to know that particular plant, because it manifests in so many different archetypes and expressions, and I feel like Blue Lotus is meeting every person at where they currently are and what they currently, need support with.
Yeah.
But in my personal experience, all what she has revealed to me up until now, all her teachings are under the same umbrella of, basically our journey from the mud to blossoming, right? Like how can we become the version of ourselves that is aligned with our highest destiny and our, truest expression, and supporting us in that process.
I just really want to add in that for me, this is also one of the most multidimensional plants I've connected with. All plants are amazing, and have their direction. But Blue Lotus for me is just so expanding that every time I'm like, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
And we are talking about the Blue Lotus. It's a lotus plant. That's blue.
Yeah.
I also think this, like, when you're talking about meeting people where they are, I know people dieting and connecting with Blue Lotus that are very much talking about it as an energy of this, like, medicine Buddha. It's sacred in Buddhism. It's old Tibetan. I know people that diet it that really connects with those sort of lineages, and it opens up that space. And then for myself, it's way more an Egyptian energy. It's way more this sacred priestess kind of energy that it also opens up for. And that's just one layer. And I feel that it has all these different, again, dimensions to it.
Exactly.
And I just want to add on to this conversation, which is really important for me, both that plants, in my perspective, are both masculine and feminine. So when we say her or him, it's really, and especially a plant like Blue Lotus that I find so tantric. It's so both. It's so masculine and it's so feminine. So and I feel you have the same. So we say her, we say him, a little around hun in Danish, right? It's that thing. And the other thing I want to mention is just this way of that we all are on a level, and maybe somebody else has an experience with Blue Lotus that's completely different.
Exactly.
And that's perfect. And so what we're sharing here today is our perspective.
Exactly.
And for the people that listen here, take what you can use.
Exactly.
And then don't take the things you can't use.
Exactly, because I feel like this plant is also like a living mystery, There is no like one truth, and this is
so mysterious and majestic, right?
Yeah, and I feel like the story kind of keeps evolving as like we converse about the plant in one way, And also adding to that feminine, masculine. I mean, up until recently, Blue Lotus was kind of showing herself to me through this very feminine perspective, like very nurturing, kind of motherly, compassionate, just so much love and care and nurture. But recently, it's been coming in like, inner strength and
alignment and stuff.
This directness, sharpness, solidity, this very masculine. And we can talk about feminine, masculine, whatever, but at the same time, this plant is so beyond duality.
Yes. But I will say, though, if we go to a place like ancient Egypt, where for more than 2,000 years, one of the main gods of their pantheon, as I understand it, was Nefertim, which is the Blue Lotus, which is a masculine deity of Blue Lotus, right? And we can it's not that that's the one truth just because they did it in Egypt, but I do feel there is something there, but it's not that it's not feminine. Or so for me it's because I'm so much of a Bobinsana woman, and Bobinsana is really one of my main plants, and I'm very much a woman that loves being a woman too. I loves my cycles, and so I'm coming from very much a Bobinsana, birch tree, that kind of direction. So for me, Blue Lotus, when I started connecting with it, was very disciplined, very much in the silence, very much in actions actually. And both meditation but also in my life, I feel this kind of, now we do this. And after dieting Blue Lotus, it is as if she is closing off all the old karma, saying, okay, now you go here, learn this, close that. Go there, do this, close that. And you have to go there, and you have to like really like putting action to it in a way that I'm like, whoa, what's happening here? So it has that like multidimensional up there, and then also just this really day-to-day do the work. Do the things, and these are the things you have to do, and now we're going, and don't sleep. Or not don't sleep, be well nourished, but like act from alignment.
Oh, yeah, I could not agree more. And I feel like this is actually the medicine that we need, also in the spiritual community, where it can be so up here, and all these concepts, and also, Blue Lotus can, and some other plants as well, they can show us our highest potential, but this highest potential is not going to manifest itself. We need to back it by action. And it doesn't matter if we get these spiritual insights or we get exposed to, I don't know, cosmic consciousness. We, through our human bodies, need to anchor that into the earth. And I feel like what the Blue Lotus wants us to do is like becoming this anchor. Or I don't know, but for me personally, it feels like becoming this bridge between the heaven and the earth, right? Through our human bodies, through our actions.
I feel for me there's something of like everyday devotion that comes up. There's like making every action a devotional ritual of honoring life. That for me is so, I can even like now feel the goosebumps of some of like in my body of like feeling the plant being like, yes, this is, every day, every moment, and we forget it, and that's fine, and we fall, and that's fine. And then I think like right now we're sitting where we have our little Tinyhouse, and there's kind of a swampy energy, and it's been really, Blue Lotus have been teaching me so much about mud and about the swamp and about not fighting the density. And I feel it's connected to what you said before about we can get very much like, let's bring the light in, let's be light, pure light and love, where it's like, well, the density is also love. And just, it's like working with the womb space. It's dark, it can be, that deep wisdom, and not trying to get out of the mud. I don't feel that the lotus is growing from the mud through the water to reach the sunshine. The point is not the sunshine. The sunshine is great, and but mud is just as much the point as the water, which is just as much the point as the air. But it is this plant of transition for me, like, and the Blue Lotus itself that blooms 3 days a year. So it comes up from the mud, up through the water, it takes up its flowers, and then every night it brings the flower down again, right? And I feel that when I have transformation processes, right, and this is really what I do with myself and with others, this we go up, we get an insight, and then we have to kind of go down in the heaviness again, and sometimes have another winter or another autumn or another sleep on it, and then come up again, so down again, this kind of up and down between the waterline, that it's not a one-way direction, and the point isn't this straight line. It's up and down, and all of it is good, kind of.
And also, I mean, when we are up here, when we are in a space of spiritual insights or whatever, like this very heightened periods, it's a little bit difficult to, it would be difficult to stay in that place forever because it's very high energy. We also need to come into like rest and relaxation and just like close off a little bit again, But also I feel like this, like the sunshine is not the goal, as you said. And also I feel like this one message that Lotus has brought to me is also trust, don't rush.
Yeah, but then I just really feel like adding to that, because I think there's another layer of dieting plants and connecting with plants, which is, what is the plant? What is the plant's property, and what is yours that the plant work with? And many times it's both, but also just to say that, for instance, all the plants, also Blue Lotus, works on my throat chakra. With me speaking, asking me to do this podcast, asking me to do the first one about Blue Lotus. But that's also because my voice, my singing, my speaking is one of my major things, right? And I think that brings just this other layer that I'm so curious about, because like some of that medicine is also us. And it is also the plant, but it's just, and I want to add it in that like, so our experience of this plant, if we had a conversation in 2 years, it will look different. Exactly. And we will have new mirrors on it and new, insights. And that's also why it's so great to talk with other people who connect with the same plant to see what is the commonalities here. What are the things? And that's one of the ways that we actually in community get to know this better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean all the plants, but I don't know if I'm using
Blue Lotus is great. It's awesome. We do. Oh yeah, all plants are great. Blue Lotus is great.
Yeah, and I mean she is so majestic,
Yes.
and has so many expressions.
Yeah.
So through your thing is voice, maybe for somebody, I don't know, it is some temple dancing, whatever,
Yes.
So
Yes,
through having these human allies, the plants can share their medicine through all these different angles, which is so beautiful.
But also, I mean, for me, I also think there's a humbleness in saying this is the plant's medicine, and I really always say, the plants are the teachers, and I'm the guide. So when I facilitate a diet, I'm not, I'm simply the guide here. The plants are the teachers, and I truly believe that. And I also think that the plants are empowering us to be us. And sharing our magic, and we have a channel too, and we have divine light as well. So it's not all like Blue Lotus through me, it is also me and my expression. And I think that's when we're also talking about diets where plant dietas, where this merging, like you really do, the way that I feel it is that I feel it in many ways, like where to start, but the plant comes in and start planting a seed, but the seed is already there. It's something in us that we already are capable of, but it's usually dormant, right? And it starts opening up for this new part of us, new part of our personality, new part of our being, new world within us. And usually in doing that, we have to let go of an old world. So we have to let go of some of our old, like my beautiful partner Stefan talks about it as if you let go of an old personality structure, you put that on the altar, and then you get a new one. But it's not that, it's not like a trade, and it's not like a new one, because it was already yours, it's already you, but the plant expand that. And so when I feel that the plants are teaching me, they are showing me what I love the very most about myself. But it's also then what I really love about them. And some of the plants, like their strictness is awesome, and some of them their softness is awesome, and so so it's just multidimensional again.
And I feel really like there are no gurus outside of us, and also the plants or the like diet thing. As I feel, it's not like I agree fully with what you're saying, and I don't think that the plants are just inserting like something completely new into us, or something that we didn't already on a certain level have in our beings. They are just like kind of polishing the glass or the window so that we can see those things now clearer, or kind of find that remembrance in ourselves that already was there, but we had just maybe forgotten or not
disconnected from it. But I think also when we talk about this, everything we're doing, we're trying to put metaphors and stories on something that is so energetic and so much an experience in the body, in life. That so all these metaphors, and I just want to mention it for anybody listening and being part of this conversation in another time and space, that like try to feel it, what we're saying, and go beyond the metaphors. It's like, how do we talk about love? We can talk about a great feeling in the belly and you get happy, but love is so much more than that. And so Blue Lotus is so much more than what we're seeing right now. But we're trying to put on stories that can resonate and open up for medicine in whose ever life of whoever is listening, and also just you and me right now in the space we're in.
Yeah, beautifully said.
Thank you. I'm thinking about a very specific thing. So dieting Blue Lotus, and again, dieta is one way of connecting with plants, and as we've talked about before, I think there are 1,000 ways of connecting with plants, and all of them are good. They're just different. So we can talk about a dieta like a marriage or a merging, and then, an immersion or quest like a good friendship. And I will say, my husband, I'm so close to him, but some of my girlfriends, in some ways I'm closer to them, but of course not, just in a different way. So again, just saying all these different plants and all these different relationships, all just relating to energies, relating to different things, and none are better than others. However, diets go very deep and it is emerging, and that's why we're talking about it now, but you can easily connect with Blue Lotus without dieting it, and just, and so coming to my experience of dieting Blue Lotus was different than other plants. In one of the ways was that he, did not want me to use mapacho. And so I did sometimes, but it was really interesting. So, some plants, they're really in from mapacho, and like, let's use this tool again and again and again, more. And so it was so interesting and I've heard it for other people that was like, I couldn't use it all my diet, or and also before we started the podcast, I was like, let's go out and use our pipes and clean ourselves with mapacho, but I was like, oh no, it doesn't feel right for me, like so. And part of that I think there are many interesting teaching about mapacho, and let's not go into mapacho right now. We love you also. You're great too. But I feel that Blue Lotus, there's teaching for me again if we come to the devotional everyday life, and how do we become a sanctuary of the divine? How do all of our lives become a prayer? And in that, how do we do and are given and consume things in the right amounts?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, not so, and for me, mapacho is such a teacher with that as well, right? It's like, you don't always have to use that. Like, when is the right time?
Yeah.
And, I feel Blue Lotus really goes into that.
I could not agree. One of the things that Blue Lotus has been teaching me a lot about is that everything is a relationship. With mapacho, with technology, any kind of substances,
with water. Yeah, that's not even good.
Yeah.
let's do that. I don't know.
And exactly. I mean, we are all humans, we live and we learn and we fail and whatever, but it's this aiming to really become intentional in our day-to-day life.
Yeah. Even when you say intention, my body is like...
Yeah. And I'm not sure if that might sound so out there for those that listen, but how to live in co-creation with the divine, through smaller and bigger scales and moments.
Yeah. I think, like, to continue on that, for me, Blue Lotus is really a master of transformation. And through working with Blue Lotus, I've realized that that is all I do. Like when I was a design engineer, I was trying to do transformation processes in companies. And, you know, like everything I've been doing is actually about transforming. And transformation isn't just in the explosions. But she teaches me that too, but that is really much my medicine. Like transformation is in the softness as well, in the not pressing, in the winter. Winter is transforming without even having to do anything. Like transformation isn't always action and explosions and big ceremonies and going to the jungle and whatever else. It is also that, but it is also these everyday actions and choosing that one moment where we choose just to go and sit on the yoga mat, not even doing yoga, but just like standing up for ourselves in that way, or standing up for ourselves by canceling the appointment we had and laying and crying in the like whatever that is, like these tiny moments of choosing to be intentional, choosing to listen and not ignore the little tiny intuition that says ding 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 ding. And so even though we're talking about Blue Lotus, it's like in the mud and in action, for me it is also 100% a teacher of consciousness.
Oh my God, yes.
Just like, okay, this is how this is consciousness.
Exactly.
This is reality. This is Dharma.
Exactly.
This is Karma. This is how the world is built. And I'm like, whoa, did you just, what?
Exactly.
Let's have a conversation, you know? Like,
yeah, because, yeah, what you were just saying, then, I mean, for me, Blue Lotus is, you know, the teacher of truth. Kind of like, it's like the teacher of cosmic
divine
law.
Yeah. For me, it's the Dharma. I use it for that word, but it's the same. Dharma is like, depending on which tradition you, like, it's the same.
Like, ultimately, like, I feel like many of these things that we share that we have learned from Blue Lotus, it's like, in essence, they are such universal, you know, teachings or, I don't know, truths, if you will. Although, who am I to, you know?
But also, I do feel that there is, like, I can't see the point of why the lotus is so sacred in more Eastern traditions and in Buddhism and in Egypt and those kind of traditions that are very much also with like consciousness and going into death and like this, what is the soul's journey and understanding several lives and that kind of thing, where I do feel there are some plants that, even though all of it, you know, has divinity, other plants that are just very much here and now, like how to live a good life, how to be a good father, how to, and if we're talking, so when we call something a plant dieta, I do, and I think you do too, we talk about it coming from the tradition of the Amazonian tribes. So any sort of plant connection that is a good connection to a plant but isn't following that tradition is a great connection to a plant, and it's just as valid. We don't call it a diet, just to honor those traditions. And there are amazing Amazonian plants, and I have only dieted a tiny part of them, and so that is a world completely to explore. But I felt Blue Lotus being so different than them, and when I diet birch, for instance, or pine up in the north, that is so different too. And there's really something about the seasons and the land that it's from. And I do feel that there is just that majestic, open, wide thing with Blue Lotus that I haven't. I mean, Nara Rao, they're very close, but I just feel it is still a different kind of realm. It opens, I don't know how to put words on that.
Yeah, me neither, because they are very close. First I was like, oh wow.
Yeah. But there
is some nuances.
There are nuances.
Yeah.
I heard once someone talk about that we're so used to talking about that we're a body with a soul inside of the body. But actually, what if we were a soul with a body inside of the soul? So the soul is greater, the soul is all over, and then we have us as bodies and the soul. So the soul is the same in some way, right? It's just expressions of the divine soul, and then we have a body inside of that soul. So in some ways, all these different plants and all of us is just different aspects, different colors of the same divine thing. But dieting these different plants do help us get in touch with that part of us, and then expanding that part somehow.
Yeah. And I also feel like the big I'm not sure which words exactly to use right now, but the big aspect of what, let's say, the lotus or many other plants are here to teach us and guide us in is like, okay, if, as I said before, that many of or all of the teachings of the lotus are under this umbrella of us aligning with, you know, our highest destiny, but it is meant for you know, the highest good of all. Yes. It is meant to serve.
Yes.
It is not meant to like, okay, now I am here living my best life for me only.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
It is to kind of repair or like realign this energetic grid that we are all connected with, you know, and like.
And if I live something that isn't also serving you on the highest plane, then it isn't serving in reality. Like then it isn't, you know. And I'm not talking about the small things of the itty-gritty things, but on the highest scale, what serves truly serves the unity.
And I feel also when speaking about the plant dietas, then you can correct me if you disagree, but it's like many plants, as well as the lotus, they are calling us humans to work with them, become friends with them, so that we can be their vessels to anchor their medicine onto the earth, you know, for the...
Yeah, I think for me, it's so interesting. Many people talk also, if we're talking about ayahuasca, or like whichever plant we're talking about, and they're like, so I'm having this ayahuasca experience. Well, what if it's also ayahuasca having a human experience for you?
Exactly.
You know? And the same with Blue Lotus. Like, we get to merge with this, and we get to be so grateful, but Blue Lotus might also pretty dig, like getting a human body going around in that. Like, oh, what's this thing? Like, this is nice. What, you know? What's happening here? Like,
the lotus loves.
I think, and we both have talked about this also before, this really both feeling that the lotus is coming out now and really asking people to connect with it and really share that medicine now. It's like, now we are ready.
Yeah.
As if there was a time we weren't, and now is the time. And then you can be a cup half empty or cup half full person and say why the time is now. Disaster, or we're ready. You know, in whichever way, I really do have that feeling of Blue Lotus just like reaching out and just saying, come on. And also like gathering her priestesses and priests and medicine people, and being like, and you don't like, and even like our connection was both Blue Lotus coming to me saying you should connect with this person, and Blue Lotus coming to you and being like, connect with this person. And now we're sitting here like, thank you. We're here.
Yeah. And what she has guided me in is also connecting with more people that work with the lotus in one way or another.
Yeah.
So that, again, why should we, you know, do this work or be in service to the lotus only by ourselves in our own homes, you know? Like, what if we like came together? Because I mean, if we are like in integrity, then, you know, I don't want to say an end goal, but you know, we have the same kind of an aim of getting away from our human heads and just not thinking where this has to go, but like following the guidance of the plant. And
I feel like that's like a core teaching of connecting with any plant for me, is really trusting. Lean back. You can trust your body, you can trust your womb, you can trust the voices. Not all of them. I meant not the voices of the mind necessarily, sweet mind. I know you're trying your best. I hear you. Thank you. But like the divine voices, right? Of that kind of trust. And for me, Blue Lotus also really goes into that.
Yeah.
I will say though, the plant that for me is the most with really like deep trust things is really birch, actually, the birch tree. But all of them has those.
Do you feel that birch and lotus in some ways are similar? I mean, I don't know, but like birch for me, it feels like also such a plant or tree of light. I've never worked with birch in this way, but...
I mean, I think it's... I was just about to give an answer, but if I feel into it, let me just feel it before I... I feel they are friends.
Mm-hmm.
And again, depending on which direction you look at them, you see different things. For me, birch is such a versatile plant. It can grow where so many, like it grows together with other plants, and it can grow where other trees can't grow. And you know, after the ice age, the last ice age, birch was it's a pioneer plant, right? It's one of the first ones, so it's really connected to water, and it has that watery thing that lotus also has. For me, birch is it's actually kind of a free wild spirit. She's like a river almost. She's like, you know, but also really a shadow hunter, really down in the deep. So I do feel in some ways it's a very different energy also, and I think part of it, you know, that energy has chosen a tree as its physical manifestation, and it chooses a manifestation that fits its spirit. And there obviously are similarities between all plants, and they are because they're so light in some ways, but I feel it's a very different. It's not them, but birch and Nora Rao really have some. And again, very different as well. And I think and one thing I think that's really a major difference is that the birch tree live in winter. It lives in a place with seasons, and that changes its medicine. But that might just be a mind concept. But I do feel that the plants that have seasons more than just more or less rain, or like the Nile flowing over or not. It's a very different medicine somehow. I definitely feel they like each other.
I could imagine.
I really feel that plants like many of the same things that we do, right? They like love. They like when we dance. They like when we sing. They like when we're in community. They like when we're good to each other and have fun. Just like plants are great.
And I feel like it's like most of the time my connection with my plant friends is so joyful, and it is so beautiful to experience these plants like being like also exactly like we talked before, experiencing themselves in this human body, and you know, getting to experience the world through that vessel. It's just
do you feel that Blue Lotus is a fun plant?
I don't know if I think Noya Rao is much more fun. Blue Lotus, when I am in ceremony, let's say, with all my plant friends, then oftentimes I'm like having the best party of my life. You know? I'm just there with my plant friends, and they are doing their energy work, and I'm just sitting there like, what? Wow, you can also do this. What? And then we just like all are having such great time, because they love that I love them so much. I love that they love me so much, and then we're just all there doing our thing together. You know? And then Lotus is a part of that. But Lotus itself, I haven't experienced the energy of Lotus itself as very fun.
No disrespect, Lotus.
No, I love you so much.
Maybe you will show that part another time. No, I agree. I don't. I do feel though. I feel that it has a humor in the way of like, not pushy in the bad way, but like letting me like go here, do this, experience this, and I'm like, why is it so hard, and what's the, and then on the other side of the teaching being like, and then kind of that laughter that comes when you get it, when it's like, whoa, you get that moment of deep insight where you're like, whoa, that like, aha.
Yeah,
I feel like it has.
Yeah, and I don't really know like a particular example on that, but I have definitely sensed some like some teasing energy from the lotus.
Oh, actually, now that you're saying it, I definitely have had that too. A lot. Yeah. There's, I think I'm just, usually when I diet, I take myself so serious. So I think part of that is probably that I haven't stepped fully into my inner gnome, the child gnome, I am in that sometimes, but I definitely, I love myself a lot when I'm in that kind of Pippi Longstocking. One of my nicknames is Pippi, but like it might just be that I haven't, fully embodied that, and so when I do that, I might experience lotus in a different way. Yeah. Yeah, well, I feel we could continue forever, but slowly going towards an ending of this conversation. Not right now, but just in feeling if there's anything with lotus that we feel like mentioning here at the end.
Yeah, like I feel right now that lotus is also teaching me about the inner strength, and actually responsibility. And not being a victim about what has happened in the past or whatever, but seeing all these experiences, like, as we get all these nutrients from the mud, or as the lotus.
Yeah, we do too.
Yeah. So kind of seeing all what we have experienced before as this initiatory processes for us to blossom into our medicine and onto our path and what we came to share, and
I feel like that's also part of why it's such a powerful plant, because it ignites that again, right? And so people can talk about it, opens the third eye, and it helps with lucid dreaming, and definitely does that. And but it's like, why does it do that? Well, because it's such a many reasons, but it's such a clear like teaching us to be a channel. And that's why it doesn't just open the third eye because it likes the third eye. Maybe also, but you get what I mean with like, there's a reason why a plant chooses these physical properties. It's not random. It's to serve a higher purpose. I guess also this lucid dreaming, I really did. And not, sometimes I feel with lucid dreaming that people can, or that people, I feel like sometimes there can come a hyper focus on like, let's all try to have lucid dreaming, so now we have to do this thing, where it's like this other high to reach. And so for me, lucid dreaming, I feel like the Blue Lotus also opens up for simply just expanding the dream world, and for us to expand our understanding of the dream world. But of course, again, it's so much about our intention. I work a lot with my dream world, and I always write down my dreams. Well, always, 90% of the time. I want to be honest here, so it's not always. I fall down with the dream thing, but and with that intention, I feel that Blue Lotus really is teaching that as well.
I to be honest, I haven't worked so much with dreams and lotus yet. During one period, I did that more, where I would smoke some Blue Lotus before going to bed, and then I was traveling through portals and going places. But I just feel like there is so many things right now that the lotus is also teaching me in the awake life. But I'm looking forward to one day dive into all that as well.
It's interesting with the smoking. I know people that smoke Blue Lotus, and for me, again, like with Blue Lotus, not even really liking me smoking Mapacho unless it's like really important. I feel that plant is so much of a water plant, and other plants that are so much water plants are usually not plants that want to be in fire.
Yeah.
However, I mean, the birch tree is also a good example of a plant that's like, it can burn even when it's wet.
Yeah.
So like, there are water plants that do like that. But so, how do you feel with Blue Lotus and smoking? Like, do you feel that it's
like, I feel like when I, for example, meditate with the lotus, I like to drink the tea, and I allow also the water quality to it. Because I have this sense that water, I mean, lotus comes from water. Water was here before the, earth, or how to say. And I feel like water carries so much memory, and it connects us kind of throughout all history. So I love using water for the meditation for that. But somehow, before going to bed, I don't know why, but intuitively I feel like smoking. And also when I would do some creative writing, for example, or something more artistic, then sometimes I prefer smoking. It often feels like a more like a faster vibratory shift. But also when I drink the tea, then it's somehow kind of like more stretched out. It's more like intuitive, because to be honest, right now, no, I was like, when did I last smoke Blue Lotus? It was yesterday.
When you're talking, what I'm feeling is this. It's really also about us, right? Like, I work so much with my throat, so obviously there's a part of me that tries to limit the amount of smoking, no matter what it is, right? Just for those who are in the conversation, smoking Mapacho, which is sacred tobacco from the jungle, is a big part of the traditional dieting process if you're dieting in Shipibo tradition, which we have been. And so that's just why we're talking about less smoking here. And so, so I feel like for me, I work so much with water. Water is one of my main medicines. I am a being of water, and like, for me, water is so, if we're looking for the force, this is it. Water is the force. If we're looking for magic, like, water is pure magic in this world, right? I had a client yesterday. It's so amazing. We were doing a cacao session online, and she was like, "You're like a Jedi." And I was like, "Yes." A Jedi. And I do feel that water carries, can be programmed, and not just in water is magic. And so for me, most plants in water like that is amazing. Yeah. But I just wanted to mention, I think that's why I have a stronger connection to Blue Lotus in water specifically. And because I also like, let's say with ceremonial cacao, I always want to work with it with wooden tools. I almost, and I know people that put ceremonial cacao in blenders and blend it, and for me that feels so violent.
I know.
And I'm like, no. And so, but for them it's fine, so I think some of this is just, we all, we have different relationships.
Exactly, but I mean, actually what you are saying right now, that it is a water plant, and how does that vibe with being burnt, So I mean, it makes me also definitely contemplate on it more.
Yeah, I'm curious in the future to hear how, like, what it feels for you.
Yeah.
And again, I think, like, that's just my way, and your way is different. And
yeah, for sure. But it is a very interesting point in terms of the energetics,
Yeah, I definitely feel that there are many, water plants that don't like to be burned. Also, I make a lot of smudge sticks, for instance, and there are just some plants that are not all in for burning as much as other plants. I was about to say which plants. I'm like, burn me, please.
That's true.
But yeah. I feel ending out with something like saying, hey, if you're listening and you're curious in connecting with Blue Lotus or plants in general, my invitation would be to slow down. Because when we're so hyper focused in our mind, we can't listen properly. We get so dong dong dong, and we can also get so hyper focused on me and what can I get out of it and my spiritual journey, and really an invitation to enter into a relationship, into reciprocity with the earth, with the plants, with the stones, with the water, with all these amazing energies and beings, and go and sit with a plant. You don't have to intake it to feel the energy of it. You don't have to consume anything. And if you do feel connected with Blue Lotus, you can connect without anybody teaching you. And if you do feel like having a guide, both Kertu and me are guiding people in connecting with Blue Lotus. I also facilitate diets, not with Blue Lotus yet. It will probably come. Diets and immersions, and really help people connect with the land under their feet and the plants. But just that if you do feel called to work with any of us with Blue Lotus, the invitation is there. And also, you can do it. And, we all have different relationships. So important is just the willingness to wanting to relate. That's it. You go and you open yourself up curiously to an experience, and then the experience can unfold for you.
Yeah, can I add something?
Yes.
I feel like with Blue Lotus, I feel like she really requires our presence, and actually our openness and curiosity to learn from her, because she has so much to offer us. But she's not gonna just she wants us to kind of, I don't know if we need to, not that we need to earn it, but we need to go through like a certain, also not like an initiatory process, but we need to basically show up from like an,
it's like a friend.
Showing a dedication. Yeah, exactly.
It's like a friend.
Exactly.
If you had a human friend that only called you when they needed help and never wanted to help you, never came and helped move a box, or then it's not a really good friend.
No.
And that's not a relationship. No. That's the old paradigm of just taking and using, and that is not what we're talking about. So if you're in that paradigm, don't buy Blue Lotus. No. Or maybe do it and try to get out of it. No, I don't mean it as a judgment, but just I'm really passionate about us relating. A relationship. Exactly. We don't have to come and just take and take and take. There is enough for everybody. The earth is so abundant. When we tap into the abundance, we ourselves also realize that we actually are abundant and we can share.
Exactly, and I really love this analogy as, having friendships with plants, almost just like we would have friendships with human beings.
Yeah.
And friendships also, exactly, they imply that we don't go to a plant like, hey, I want this, give me that,
Yeah.
It's like, also, for example, making gifts to a plant.
Yes.
I mean, I love receiving gifts when somebody has been thoughtful and, maybe Kertu would like this, I'm gonna give it to her. Plants love it,
And also with the gifts, it's like, what can we truly give that is ours, right?
Yeah.
Because everything we wear comes from the plants or the earth, everything we eat, everything we have. But we can give our prayers, we can give our gratefulness, we can give our songs, we can give our presence, we can give our we can give being in solitude, so we give up for a moment our relation with all these other things, or we can give our silence, all these things. We can also give physical gifts, but just it doesn't have to be a physical gift. It can also be it's Thich Nhat Hanh is like my favorite monk ever. He has this beautiful book, it's called True Love, and he talks about one of the first mantras he teaches people there in that book is basically saying, "Dear one, I am here." I'm listening, I'm here for you. You know, and that is what we dream of. That is what we want. Somebody truly being there and listening. That's the same for all beings. I'm here. Listening. You know. It doesn't have to be a car.
And also when connecting with the plants, then just also being there in that space, you know, to just connect and spend time with the plant without necessarily again wanting something, just spending the time together, you know.
And that also takes the pressure off of like, oh, it has to be all this serious medicine and now we have to do this and contribute to the world and serve, and like we can also allow ourselves just to sit and be in the presence of a plant or a person and not having to perform and do, and just be here right now, right here with the plant and ourselves, not to forget. Thank you for this conversation. I feel like when I look into your eyes, I feel like, oh, this Blue Lotus. I sometimes feel that when I look into the eyes of people that diet plants, it's like they're more looking back at me than just normal eyes. There's something different with it.
I mean, I think I can feel it more in the energy. Maybe in a few years I'll be also able to see that.
I don't know. We all have different
but your eyes are
ways.
definitely shining. And I just noticed during the conversation your beautiful dress. I don't know if it is lotus, but it looks like...
I don't know. Like,
I
got it in Guatemala. And for me, it's also kind of a cacao.
Yeah, it could be actually like whatever, but like it just
it
reminds.
It's nice and Thank you. And thank you for whoever was listening to this podcast or watching the video of us sitting here. Wishing you all a wonderful, wonderful, soul shiny day in our evening. And I think that's it.
Thank you.